Okay, this video is Prevent and Reverse Obesity by me, P. Rogers, part 7. And this chapter was just about watching videos on the internet. And, how to lose weight's already been figured out. It's not rocket science. You just look at people who have already been successful for their life and copy them. Don't copy somebody who's just been successful for a little while. Look at the countries where everybody's skinny. They eat a low-fat, starch-based, plant-based diet. In the real world, nobody was 100% vegan, but in the Western world, you've most likely eaten a poor diet for many years, so you sort of want to detox yourself, and it's best in so doing to be 100% vegan. Dr. McDougall's got great videos on obesity and weight loss. Chef AJ's got great videos on obesity and weight loss. I used to give lectures on Chef AJ channel, including I made a whole long obesity lecture there, and then I followed it up on my own channel and broke it up into parts. And I'm grateful to Chef AJ. Before Chef AJ gave me a chance, she's the only real popular channel that ever interviewed me. Nobody knew I existed. The most videos I ever had was 72 on one video because something about the 1,000 brain theory. Some neuroscience people picked that up, but that was it. So anyways, the same old stuff that was said. Eat low caloric density, eat starch-based diet, eat your veggies first, get the junk out of the house. And then, and Chef AJ had said almost tons of great things in nutrition. You can trace them back to Dr. McDougall, and that is true. That happens over and over. And McDougall basically preserved the knowledge of the past. He preserved the greats, like Kempner and Pritikin and Burkitt and the other discoveries of the past. All those papers on diabetes, Rabinowitz, Hemsworth, no one else knew about that. So he did a fantastic job. Royce Swank and the other pioneers who figured out how to really help patients. So that was great that McDougall did that. I'm trying to do the same thing right now. It's becoming less and less tolerated to have an open, honest opinion nowadays because corporate money puts so much more pressure on the internet than it used to. And Chef AJ fired me. Everybody knows that story by now. She says she fired me because of what? My joke. But the real reason she fired me, and everybody knows it that studied the subject, is because, I made fun of the high-fat phonies. I basically said the high-fat phonies are a separate category of diet. The moderate-fat vegans who basically recommend what I would consider like a vegan version of the Mediterranean diet. I said that is a separate category than Pritikin, Kempner, and McDougall and Esselstyn. They recommend a low-fat vegan diet, okay? And that pissed her off because those are her good friends, a lot of the high-fat phonies. So, for me to criticize them was unforgivable and I got fired, okay? But too bad. Okay, and then I throw some jokes in the book. I'm always putting some jokes in the book. I said that Chef AJ and me breakup was like the breakup for old people was like the breakup of Durian Ryder and Freely the Banana Girl for young people, okay? It's silly, and I made other jokes in there, it's just kidding around. Basically, when I talk to people, a lot of people I know, they think the whole vegan diet is insane. It's ridiculous. None of them do it. They think vegans are, like hippies, pot-smoking freaks. They think vegan diet's kind of a crazy thing. I've been told by a lot of friends, and especially young people, don't say you're a vegan. Everybody will think you're a weirdo, you're crazy, you're insane. And so the vegan diet's not widely accepted by the general public. And I'll sometimes talk when I'm just in random public places, if I have nothing to do, I'll talk to people and I'll say, the secret of health? The secret of health is be a low-fat vegan. And they look at me with a strange look. Let's see, what else? And so basically vegans are not accepted by society. And what I joked is that, in the concept of Malcolm X, he said there's the field Negroes and there's the house Negroes. And so what I said, neither one was that accepted, but the field Negroes were more unaccepted, more ostracized, just sent to do labor. Where the house Negroes, they were living in the house and doing everything. And that's kind of how high-fat vegans are, the high-fat phonies, because they're selling stuff. They're selling, olive oil, omega-3 supplements, tricking the public into eating high-protein diets, caffeine, MSG, nuts, seeds, avocados, spices, herbs, fish oil, coffee, tea, all this stuff, okay? Whereas low-fat vegans, we don't sell anything. There's no money to be made off the Kempner Rice diet, McDougall diet, the Esselstyn diet, Nathan Pritikin, Jeff Nelson, all that stuff. So nobody wants anything to do with us. And, we're sort of ostracized from all the popular channels. But that's just the way it is. Okay. So anyways, this chapter was just a little bit of historical information. Why did Chef AJ get lung cancer? I made a whole video about that, but my best guess is that, from being a chef, chefs sometimes have increased risk of cancer just because a lot of times they inhale a lot of the cooking fumes. So, I don't know for certain. That's just my guess, my theory of that. Anyways, that's it for this episode.